record?
Okay.
Is this on the record? All right, cool. How's it going? It's Kevan, Kenney. Welcome to a brand new episode of On the Record. Joined today by Kasabian Serge. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. You?
Good. I'm hanging in there. We were just admiring your shoes. I don't know if we
Yeah,
have those
man.
on camera, but you are a stylish dude, and you're doing
Thanks,
something that
mate.
no one has ever done, Serge. I want to draw attention. It is
Okay.
Fashion Week to the visitor pass that is
Yeah.
adorning your T-shirt
It's
there.
a new label. I think it could work.
I think you should start printing those up.
Yeah. You never
RXR
know.
Realty would probably love that.
That you're supposed to put them straight in your pocket, but
No.
I thought, you know what? I'm going to wear it with pride.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you were saying you're going to try to make uncool things cool. I
Very,
like
yeah,
that.
that's
I
my
like that
move at the
initiative.
moment. Yeah,
Right on.
that's how as well. It sort of excuses more of the
Well,
the fails that I'm going to make along the way.
Yeah, I like it. Something that is definitely cool, definitely not uncool, is this 5th #1 album, for crying out loud. It's your 6th studio album overall, 5th
Yeah.
#1. I mean, I know you'll probably say no to this question, but is there any part of you, when you get 5 out of 6 #1 albums that you put out into the world, is there any part that you expected at this point?
No, you like I suppose I mean maybe 2 and 3 you sort of get complacent.
Okay.
But then after that, you sort of think it's more of a, because we're on a roll. You think, oh, we don't want to break it now.
Yeah.
And I had to be honest with you. What I went on. I had a look on. I sort of the history of how many bands have done it, and there's not many, and it puts us in like there, like with ABBA. You've heard of them, right?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
And then who else was there? Prince.
Yeah. Well, you speak about ABBA, Prince, and the sort of rarefied air that you guys are now in with these 5 #1 albums.
Yeah,
Is
in
there-
England, of course.
In England, of course.
Oh,
And
well.
you guys, I think, have a great attitude as a band for the past 20 some odd years of not taking things too seriously. But is there a weight to these albums now? Because you're there with Prince, you're there with ABBA. Is there a pressure that you guys feel, or you take everything in stride?
Yeah, I think so. It just, I mean, really now it's about, I don't know. I mean, you just sort of want to. I sort of taking the risk side of it makes me excited. Not necessarily like statistics and stuff, but I just like every album to be unique and fit and not really sort of have people guessing all the time what you're going to do next. That's kind of what keeps me wanting to make more.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what we appreciate as fans, too. So
Yeah.
thanks for continually doing that. We're going to dive into this record a little bit more, but first I want to talk about this beautiful cover star we have on the album. What can you tell us about, I think it's a longtime roadie of yours?
Yeah. Again, going on with this label thing, it caused quite a stir at the label. They were like, "What? Well, this is not going to happen. We can't do this." But I just thought it was just, I don't know. I just, it's hard to sort of make anything that I don't know, like, because everyone sort of has Instagram and everyone's got their own little world and they've got all these great photos and everyone's kind of doing great stuff. So it's hard to sort of make something that you can't forget,
Yeah.
So it was like just this beautiful old man that's been with us for so long, and then with a sort of little bit of graffiti over him with the tears. And also, we knew that he'd get loads of hassle, which is amazing. That's kind of why we really did it.
Yeah. Starts in
'Cause
trouble.
he can't go now to the shops without doing autographs and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's a cantankerous old man, so he doesn't like it at all.
I was going to say, how does he feel about it? Was he
Well,
reluctant to you putting him up there?
No, he sort of likes it, but he definitely gets way more hassle now on his Facebook and that.
Yeah.
But his Tinder has gone up quite a fair
I
bit.
bet he's getting all the swipes now on Tinder.
Oh
huh?
yeah.
You played us 2 singles off the new album here on Billboard Live just a couple of minutes ago. The first is Bless This Acid House.
The first we played was You're in Love with a Psycho, and then the last song was Bless This Acid House.
Right,
so.
I should have said that.
Yeah.
How'd you choose the singles? I'm so curious because this is a large body of work. The deluxe is even larger version of the album. But how did you go about choosing those 2 songs as singles?
They seemed to have a way of just the first 20 seconds you sort of feel like
Yeah,
they have a
feels it.
way of just kind of going, yeah, I'm a single,
Yeah.
And those 2, I think the intros, they feel like there's a uniqueness to them that's great.
Yeah. I read a great interview with you guys recently. I think it was in the BBC, and you were saying how if it all ended tomorrow, you'd be fine. You'd be okay. You're satisfied. And it's easy to say, right, with the 5 number ones. You've headlined, I think, Reading twice now. You've done Glastonbury. You've done Leeds. You've done all the big festivals, and you've had so much success over the past 19 years as a band. But if you had to say, what else is there out on the bucket list to check off? Or even if there's nothing, like what's something you haven't done you want to do?
I mean, Madison Square Garden would be nice.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah, yeah. But is that out there? You think of that as a band?
Like I said, I mean, really, there isn't anything. Just making things, making albums, art, and videos. That's it, really.
Yeah.
So anything else is just, adventure, I suppose. Just carrying on to. It's nice to keep going, to keep being inspired. Definitely. But you didn't really do it for it. We just did it because we like, I don't know, it's like, we're not really sort of, career band where we have certain things, it's just, we just, I don't know, we just like messing around.
Yeah, having a good time.
Yeah.
I bring up Reading. You guys just headlined Reading this year for the second time, I believe, right?
That's right. Yeah.
That's congratulations on that alone. Something you did really cool though to commemorate the 25th anniversary of Nirvana headlining that same festival is you guys did a Nirvana cover.
Yeah.
Of All Apologies.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Where'd that idea come from?
We've been playing it for years in the rehearsal.
Right on.
So it was just felt right to it was a nice nod.
Yeah.
And I sort of I came late to Nirvana, but they're such an incredible force.
Well, I wanted to ask, was that it was Kurt and Nirvana, were they big inspirations for you early on?
Not so much growing up, because there was definitely it was made more tribal growing up when we were kids. Like you could, like now it's okay to be into everything. Like whereas growing up, you were either a grunge kid or a raver or heavy metal. There wasn't really. Now it's okay for everyone to be everything else, but back then it was very much you didn't even give it a chance because you just weren't allowed. You had your tribe, and that was someone.
What was your tribe back in the day?
Well, I was like electronic music, so really it was like the early sort of jungle scene and the rave scene. That was where I started.
Interesting. You talk about the live shows, whether it be at a festival or a concert of your guys, and I heard a crazy story you were talking to somebody about where you were hitting the head with a bottle at a show and you get stitches and then you left blood all over the green room. And I was just curious if you had to think, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but what is the craziest show story that you can think of throughout the past 19, 20 years as a band?
I don't know. I mean, they're all pretty. That was there's an amazing photo that never got taken on the door when I left. I pushed the door and my hand was full of blood and this amazing handprint was on the door.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, although I was sort of like out of it, even then I was going, fuck, that's good, that is.
Speaking about Instagram, right?
Yeah, exactly. Post. I was like, shit, that's
left your calling
like
card.
Just in a dirty venue, and that kind of is something beautiful about that moment.
Definitely. So you'd say that was probably the craziest show story?
There's been so many, and they're all just sort of, I don't know, it's just this mishmash of, my mind's gone, really.
Yeah.
It really
it's all a blur at this point, right?
It really is. I mean, one time, it's not very crazy, but we was playing with Oasis in America, and our kit got, the driver of the lorry sort of lost it and drove off, and left the party and just went, and he was gonna kill himself, but he never did. But he unfortunately our kit was in his lorry, so there was these people trying to find this guy, and he was gonna, they had to talk him round because he was gonna, jump off this cliff. So Oasis invited us on stage, but we didn't have any gear, so me and Tom had to go on without guitars, and I sort of play guitar, so I sort of ended up dancing in front of 30,000 people in Seattle or somewhere at this sort of arena.
As Oasis is playing?
Yeah, just thinking, what am I doing? Like, this is not, you should, I don't know what I was thinking, because it's not really you go on there and dance,
Yeah.
So that was a strange
That's a great
event, yeah.
Speaking of shows, and just to sort of tie it back to the very beginnings, we talked today, you're such an accomplished band. I quote and I cite the 5 number 1 albums and all the success you guys have had as headliners. But back in the day, I think your first show ever was in 1998 at a place called The Shed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now, you just told me it's all a blur, but can I kind of jog your memory? What are your memories of that first show at the Shed?
Yeah, I mean, we got the gig because we had we realised early on that you get the gig if you can bring people to drink the bar, and we had a lot of mates that were very prepared to do that. So we got the gig, and we didn't really know what we were doing. We played a few of our own songs, and then I think we might have played a Beatles song or a Who song or something like that. Yeah, and I was I was petrified of every singer. It's one of them where, I really want to do that, and then you get on stage and go, oh, I'm not sure about this. I've got to perform now. So yeah, but it was chaos. Ended on a big riot because we were only kids, and we had some Larry pals, and it just sort of kicked off a bit as it usually did back then. But it was great. It was good fun. And
that's cool.
We sort of realised that was it. We didn't want to get real jobs.
Yeah, this is way better, right?
This is way better.
So you got Corden coming up, James Corden, The Late Late Show on September 21st here in the United States. That'll be very fun and exciting. He's sort of the it guy now in late night, and he has a lot of great bands from the UK on his show. You guys are going to be, again, I think, coming up in September 21st.
Yeah.
What else can you look forward to, or can we look forward to as fans of the band?
Well, we sort of do the tour here.
When's
which
that
would be
kick off?
great. We start on tomorrow at the Terminal 5.
Oh my gosh!
So we're playing that.
This is the first one I think in like 3 years, right?
Yeah,
it's been a minute.
It has, yeah. That's always been a problem with us, and we didn't visit enough really, which is a shame. But every time we come, it's great. It's kind of nice. Sort of we're at a nice level where we sort of just undercover, and we can get away with a lot more, which is good. And then we sort of do Chicago and Philadelphia and Toronto and then San Francisco and LA and stuff.
Right on. Well, best of luck on tour.
Thanks,
tickets.
man.
I'm sure are still available across
There's a
your
few,
social media and
if you need them.
Definitely. Well, Serge, thanks so much for taking
Cheers,
the time
Kevin.
again. The record for Crying Out Loud available everywhere now. Appreciate you tuning in.